From Brooke High School, WTRF proudly presents Ohio Valley Tonight with Nathan Marshall. Tonight's guest.
Tonight we are joined by co-owner of the Three Rivers Fencing Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Brad Sellier. Appreciate you coming down. And
Thanks,
your
Nathan.
protege here, who's a Wheeling Park senior, Christine Fanning. Christine, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. And Brad, I was reading a little bit about you on the internet, and one of the things that came across was that you had a quote that says that fencing is the most fantastic of all sports, and if you're good at fencing, you're good at life. And Brad, I'm sorry, but we have a huge tetherball following on this show, and I know there's a lot of people at home saying, what is he talking about? Because totem tennis is the greatest thing ever.
Well, I can't speak for those two sports, but I can talk about fencing.
All right.
Fencing is the type of sport where it requires athletic ability, it requires endurance, it requires a strong mind, it requires a strong heart. In other words, you need to be able to learn to overcome your fears when you're competing against somebody, because it's a fight.
It's weird because it's the same qualifications to be a Thundercat, which I think is kind of neat.
Okay.
All right, Brad, Christine, you got me geared up here and got my foil in hand, and I got this crazy looking helmet. And what I need all this stuff for? Can I just run willy-nilly?
Well, that is actually a mask,
Okay.
not a helmet.
Oh,
and you have just about everything you need to fence. Of course, we have our fancy knickers on.
Oh, yeah.
But we didn't know we had your size, so we just went
I didn't
with
get
a
any fancy
jacket.
knickers. Right, well, this mask is going to really put a foil, I guess, no pun intended, in my game plan, because I was going to make extremely strange faces, like, ah!
Still can.
Okay. Well,
People just won't know.
okay. Thank God, because that was my whole strategy. All right, so I bring my weapon up to my face like this.
And salute your opponent.
Who's my opponent?
Christine.
Oh, gosh. I almost hit you with it. Is that cheating if I
Might be the only touch you get.
I might, yes. Let's do this again. Salute! Oh,
Shoot
God.
again.
She's,
Yeah,
out. She's out of the competition. Sorry. Christine, you're way stronger than I am, of course.
Maybe my right arm, my fencing arm. But
So why did you get involved in this sport?
well, I've played many sports actually. I've played soccer since I was 4, and a couple years ago, my dad asked me if I wanted to try another sport.
She said, "Let's go get out the swords and chase each other around." That's a great idea.
But I decided to try fencing, and I agree with what Brad said 100%. Though I compare it to martial arts.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, it depends on the other person what you do, and it's quick reactions, and I love how it's mentally draining, it's physically draining, and I've never felt more proud of myself, more mentally drained, exhausted, and just tired all around after as much after a soccer match as I have after a fencing tournament.
Yeah, wait till you spend a weekend in college. Spend a weekend there.
Yeah.
You'll never be the same.
Looking forward to it.
Right. So we're gonna fight.
You want to learn a couple actions first?
Yeah. I mean, anything's gonna help me. She's gonna kick my butt. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm going to do a feint, and when she goes to parry, then I'm going to do a disengage, which is kind of just moving the blade from one side to the other side. So I'm going to feint, disengage.
Oh, like a fake out.
Yeah. So I do the feint to make her scared to try to parry, and then I'll finish the attack. That's action number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it almost like you're writing with a huge quill pen?
I've never heard it
Dear
described
John,
that way.
I wish that you would.
So the other action that we were going to teach you, we already taught you, which was when she attacks you, block, which is a parry, and then hit, which is a repost.
Okay.
So a block is a parry. So when she attacks me, I do a block, which is a parry. And then after I've defended myself, when I start my offensive action, that's called a repost, and I hit with the repost.
It'd be great if she doesn't move like that. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do that, I will.
I don't think she's going to do that. But good luck. Thank you.
Look at this, sportsmanship. Oh, Christine, you have no sportsmanship from me.
Well, you have to show respect for your opponent before you try to kill them.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of sportsmanship.
Just a little bit.
And then after I kill you, I'll gloat like a thieving hound.
I don't know what that means, but.
I've actually been told that the tip of the fencing, the rapier, I guess it's called, is the second fastest object in sport. And I guess it's second fastest to the marksman's bullet. That's insane to me. A bullet and then the fencing, the end of a fencing stick. That's crazy. Has anybody ever died fencing?
In the late 70s, early 80s, there was a death. And usually the only injuries that occur in fencing, serious injuries, other than regular sports-related injuries, are if a blade breaks. Two very powerful athletes, two very powerful offensive actions at the same instant where one of the blades broke and it split the mask, went into their brain, killed them.
Oh my goodness.
Now, since then, there have been a lot of regulations put in place by the International Fencing Federation requiring strengthened masks, strengthened blades, strengthened material used in the uniforms, and now it's almost unheard of to see any real injuries. In fact, as a club owner at Three Rivers Fencing Center, our general liability insurance is about the lowest that you'll find. Just because of that reason, there's almost no injuries in fencing to speak of. So.
Yeah. The lowest insurance actually out there is butterfly collector. That's the cheapest, actually.
I wouldn't know.
I would. I love butter now.
Good. A curtsy too. That was a little bit much.
On guard.
You are in your on guard position.
I feel like I'm going to pick a giant's nose.
Then your point may be too high. I'm going to say on guard, ready, fence. I don't know what to do. You're so scared. Oh gosh. Oh! So there was an attack from my left, which was good.
She didn't hit me in the heart.
She hit me. It's for my left. It's 1-0.
She hit me in the. She didn't hit me in the heart.
By the way, about is to 5 touches.
She just cut my right breast.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know if I can say it on TV, but
try not to let her hit you there again.
Oh gosh.
I know that fencing is not the most televised sport, but when you think of fencers, you stereotypically think of someone who goes out and they're going out with their sword and they're almost basically narrating or play-by-playing their own fight. You know, they're like, on guard and touche, you know, like that's what you think of when you think of fencing. Is that true or is that fabricated?
That's Hollywood.
Yeah,
Hollywood. I've only met a couple different people who end up saying touche after every couple touches, and they say on guard every time you go back to start.
Yeah.
But other than that, nobody jumps around and yells on guard and touche every 2 seconds.
Yeah, the weirdos.
Yeah.
It's still good for a bald person when you say toupee. That usually works for my friend Dan. I love that. But other
now,
than that.
with the there is yelling in fencing.
Yeah.
Kind of more of a guttural thing.
Like tennis.
Yes, exactly the analogy I was going to make. You
Yeah.
hear, especially in women's or men's tennis, with people grunting on every stroke. A lot of times when you know you've scored a touch, it's not something you think about. It's just something that you let go with. So.
Well, and then you find the girls who have the high-pitched voices in the first place, and there's a cat noise, and you could have sworn it didn't come from any person, but girls' events are always loud.
That would motivate me more to get them out.
Well, see, it's another mind game because it gets in people's head.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're yelling because you're so excited, you're scoring on them, and they start getting down, and then it's hard to come back from that. And so there's another example of how...
Mental game.
So when I go into fencing, if I ever go into it, I need to just come in and go,
That might work.
They would be so confused, like, is that a woman? Is that a woman under that mask?
But they won't be intimidated.
Yeah, well, that would be true. I'm not an intimidating person. I would go over this many times, and it's not going to happen.
Oh, she got me again. She is too good. Why didn't you give me someone who stinks?
Fence.
Guttural noises. Guttural noises. Guttural noises. You almost hit me in the crotch. That's not legal. That's a low blow.
It is legal.
Deduct 5 points.
Look at your jacket. It's legal.
Who makes this stuff? Who in the world made this?
That would be considered a vital organ.
Yes, that's 3 vital organs that should count.
No touch.
You just have to hop.
Okay, I'm like river dancing.
Yeah, that's ready. Fence.
I got it!
We have to tell him. We have to tell him.
Oh gosh, I was so ungentlemanlike. I'm sorry, I was really upset.
So, you made an attack. She successfully defended herself with a parry. Then she hit you with the repost as you hit her, and you started celebrating, but she got the touch.
Oh my gosh!
4-0.
This referee is working for the freaking. Oh my goodness.
We have a student question here from Brooke High School sophomore Sarah Young, and Sarah says this.
If you want to be successful in the sport of fencing, when should a person begin training?
That's actually a great question, because you actually have Junior Olympic training up at Three Rivers Fencing Center?
Yeah, we at Three Rivers Fencing Center, we will cater different classes to different age groups. So we'll do classes for kids that are 6 to 8. We do youth classes for ages 9 to 12. And we do teen and adult classes for over 13. Nowadays, the fencing is set up for tournaments under 10, under 12, under 14, under 17, under 20, and open events, and then senior events, over 40, over 50, over 60. No matter when you start, there's a category for you to get involved if you want to compete. And fencing is really the kind of sport where you're always challenging yourself and you're always learning to get better. So when you mentioned I was a 2009 national champion, that was in the over 40.
I won't tell anybody if you know. I won't tell anybody if you know, because that's still, you're still the national champion. Don't be bashful about that.
At the 2000 national championships Olympic qualifiers, which was the best of the best in the open event, I was in the top 12. So that was probably my best result in open top of the line competition.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Well, the real question I have for you, is there any way I can fudge the records and compete in the over 80 or under 10 division? Because I think I would be very dominant in those.
There's some pretty good under 10 fencers.
You're right, I would lose.
And over 80.
I would lose. Oh, gosh. So sad.
Now, at the end, you also salute to show respect for your opponent, win or lose. And then you go and you shake hands. Unarmed hands. Well done.
You are way better than me, Christine. I will tell you that. At least put up a valiant effort. And by that I mean, I hit her. I hit her the one time. You saw it.
Well, you looked good.
Thanks. Thanks, I appreciate it. Well, thank you guys for coming down. I appreciate it. Again,
Thanks,
Brad Sellier from the Three Rivers Fencing Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Christine Fanning. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. And you can look up more information on fencing or Brad or Christine at
threeriversfencing.org.
threeriversfencing.org. And for Ohio Valley Tonight, this has been Nathan Marshall losing humbly. Oh.
All right.
Cheater! Cheater!
Okay. If you want to be successful, my God!